right behind me, so that we're in the frame. Yeah, you got it. Good afternoon. My name is Greta Bergstrom. That is Greta, last name Bergstrom, Bergstrom. I am the City of Minneapolis's Communications Director. We called this media briefing today to address the initial outcomes of yesterday's city election. Specifically, we want to address the results of the 3 ballot questions and passage of questions 1 and question 3. To address the outcomes and next steps for the city enterprise, I will be introducing 3 of the city's administrative staff leaders. Interim City Coordinator Heather Johnston, that's Heather Johnston, Johnston. City Clerk Casey Carl, Carl is his last name, and City Attorney Jim Rowder, Rowadder. The city's administrative leadership is committed to the transparency of information sharing. This will be what we expect will be the regular public briefings, presentations, and updates addressing implementation decisions and changes regarding the 2 ballot questions that did pass yesterday. The city plans to launch a public webpage where the latest information and details about implementation action plans will be posted for public access. Staff anticipates that the new webpage will be available prior to the canvassing board meeting, which is next Friday, November 12th. I'd like you to please hold your questions until the end. We will have time for questions. And I would now like to introduce Interim City Coordinator Heather Johnston.
Hello, I'm Interim City Coordinator Heather Johnston. The voters of Minneapolis has spoken, and we are here to share some important information about the next steps in the implementation of the 2 ballot measures that did pass, government structure and rent stabilization. As Greta said, we are committed to transparency and sharing regular updates with the community throughout the restructuring process. This is the first of what will be several regular briefings, and we will make other city leaders available at those briefings. This will take time and patience, but we are committed to working together as one city enterprise on this important work. While the Public Safety Amendment did not pass, the work to transform our public safety services that has been ongoing for several years, including the work to reimagine public safety, will continue. We understand that this is a challenging time for city staff, and I want to thank them for their important work and service to the public. We all care deeply about the city of Minneapolis. Serving our residents and our businesses is our top priority. A special thank you to all of the city staff and volunteers who helped administer the election, which saw record turnout levels. And to talk a little bit more about those turnout levels, we have our city clerk, Casey Carl.
Thank you, Heather. My name is Casey Carl. I have the privilege of serving as the city clerk for the city of Minneapolis, and in that capacity, I am the chief elections official. As has been reported, our 2021 municipal election closed last night at 8 p.m., and we had officially achieved a turnout of 53.94%. That's a record high for an off-year municipal-only election. Going into election day, we had reported the highest ever early vote turnout in at least the last 45 years. In total, more than 145,000 ballots were cast by Minneapolis voters in this year's election, and roughly 79% of that turnout was in person yesterday at the city's 134 precincts. My first obligation is to express my sincere appreciation to the approximate 1,900 election judges, seasonal workers, and staff who make the magic of our election happen this year and every year. Minneapolis is blessed to have an incredible team of truly committed public servants. And to my core team, Tim, Jeff, Kate, Eric, John, and Aaron, my gratitude for a seamless, professional administration of this historic election. With that, we do have data showing this year's voter turnout in comparison to the last 2 municipal election cycles in 2013 and 2017. Hopefully you all have a copy of that. And as you can see then, the turnout trend has continued to increase over these last years. In 2013, Minneapolis achieved a total turnout of about 33% of our registered voter population. That increased 4 years later in 2017 to 43% turnout. And this year, we've truly exceeded all expectations, and we've achieved nearly a 54% voter turnout. And I think that shows that Minneapolisans truly care passionately about their city. And this record-setting turnout is proof, I would say, of the shared spirit of progress, of forward momentum that is embodied in our city's motto, En Avant. So for me, this election shows that despite differences in perspective or points of view, the people of Minneapolis come together to work side by side to make this city the best that it can be today and tomorrow, as our interim city coordinator has already said. Our tabulation teams, as you know, are working hard at our elections headquarters right now to complete the round-by-round processing of rankings. We expect to complete the mayor's race early this afternoon. Several delays were the result of the necessity to clean up the raw data and to prepare it for tabulation. Once we complete the tabulation of the mayor's race, we will quickly move on to complete tabulation in all of the remaining races yet to be announced with unofficial winners. We anticipate completing all of those tabulations today. And again, the results will be posted to the city's elections website, which can be accessed at vote.minneapolismn.gov. With that, it's my pleasure to introduce our city attorney, Jim Rauter, who will provide some high-level legal analysis about the implications of this voter-approved amendment to the city charter, which transitions us to an executive mayor legislative council form of government.
Thank you, and good afternoon. I'm Jim Rauter, and very honored to serve as the city attorney for Minneapolis. Here to just share some high-level information about questions 1 and 3, which were passed on the city's ballot. With regard to question 1, the city government will essentially restructure, with the mayor as the chief executive officer having direct control over the city's administrative functions, and the city council serving as the legislative body. Specifically, we want to address that we expect the process for finalizing the 2022 city budget that will continue as planned against the current schedule that is in place, and any amendments to the adopted 2022 budget could be made if desired by the mayor and the council later in 2022. With regard to question number 3, by passing that question, the voters in Minneapolis approved the procedural step of opening the door to allow for the potential development and legislative consideration of a rent stabilization ordinance. Although some initial background research has been done and conducted, that ordinance has not been developed. Now, I think we're available for any questions.
Casey, can you talk a little bit about what you mean by data cleanup? What has to be done with the results, particularly the second and third choice ballot?
So the question is about cleaning up the data that we get. Because there are not certified systems available in the marketplace today that automatically tabulate ranked choice voting ballots, we have to first get raw data from the Hennepin County Elections Office that combines all of the early vote data and the precinct level data from Election Day. All of that data is merged for 134 precincts, and what we get is a downloadable data set that includes the first 3 rankings for every candidate in each race on the ballot. We also have to clean that data to remove any undervotes or overvotes for candidates in each race, for each candidate in each race, and we have to deal with write-in candidates. And so there are thousands of write-in candidates. The way that the technology works is each write-in candidate is an image file. And so we first have to take the Excel spreadsheet that has all the data I've already described. We have to go retrieve the image file put that into the Excel spreadsheet so that we can read it as a name, and then we have to start the process of tabulation, which starts with removing non-declared write-in candidates. So after we go through the process of getting the images of these write-in candidates and putting them into the proper places, then we have to go through the process of removing those that are not declared write-ins. So for example, in the mayor's race, there are 2 declared write-in candidates. We will count for those 2. We will not count for the thousands of others that were written in. But we have to go through the process of cleaning or scrubbing that data up. And that takes a lot of time, as you might imagine, before we can actually begin the process of tabulating the official candidates that are on the ballot.
How many people do you have working? I mean, it sounds really labor intensive, and it sounds like it's a lot of manual work if you can't automate this sort of thing. How many people do you have doing this?
So right now, the question is how many people are working on tabulating the results at our elections headquarters. We have a total of 4 teams of 2 tabulators each, and then we have 2 backup tabulators, if you will, to spell people for lunch and breaks. And so we're working all of those teams around the clock, so to speak. In terms of processing it, 2 teams of 2 tabulators work on 1 race at one time. And every so often at prepared process or steps in the procedure, they stop what they're doing and check in with each other to make sure they're getting the same results, so that there's a regular process of checking in to make sure we are in alignment as we're going through the process of checking those choices in each of the 3 rankings for the candidates. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Thank you very much.